schedule to accomplish your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning.
Some adjustments here to our audio.
Okay. Do we have anyone who wishes to make a comment on any item on the agenda today? Yes, sir.
I want to comment on 7.
Okay.
The money for 7, the engineers department do a good job here, but that came from county money this year. How much money came from NOACA this year to take care of roads and bridges in the county? Nobody knows. Mr. Shane here doesn't know either. Does Adrian know? Adrian, do you know how much money came from NOACA this year for the roads and bridges?
I am not aware, no.
Are you aware of the money that came for this item 7 on the agenda today? Because it's county money that's paying for this bridge, for this job.
I'm not aware of any
Who
NOACA
handles
money being used for
Who's
this.
aware of the county finances for the engineers department? Do you take care of paying the bills on that, or do they pay their own bills?
The engineers do pay their bills through financial session, but they have their own finance people that pay those. So.
Okay. But you're aware of it, correct?
Yes.
They send you a copy of every time they pay a bill?
I don't get a copy of the bill, no. It just shows up in the financials.
Which is once a week?
Correct, yes, typically.
Do they ever have an audit?
Yeah, our books are audited every year.
Who audits it?
The state auditor.
The state auditor,
Yes.
not the county auditor.
Well, the county auditor does as well, yes. They're constant.
Do we report on what the state auditor or the county auditor finds?
Yes.
Where is it published?
There's a report. Generally, the published versions of the audit are released on the auditor's website, or the county auditor's website.
But they don't publish it, they just put it on the website.
Well, I mean, there is bound copies of it too that float around in the
How many
various
bound
offices.
copies float around?
I have no idea.
How can we get a bound copy?
You could probably contact the auditor's office or download it off their website or the state auditor's website.
What happens if you don't have a website?
What was the question?
Thank you, everybody. It's interesting. This is NOACA bullshit. Thank you.
Please watch your language.
Bullshit. Call the sheriff and have him removed.
He's right back there.
Anyone else?
Okay. Moving on to item number 2, the financials. On April 9th, I approved a payment from JFS to Xerox Corporation for copier lease payments from February and March 2026 in the amount of $1,121.20. And that's all. For item number 3, on April 9th, I concurred with the Newberry Township trustees in not requesting a hearing on the liquor license being requested by Station Convenience Stores, LLC, located at 11253 Kinsman Road, Newberry, Ohio, OCT, TRFO 10011303-1. And on April 13th, I approved for the Department on Aging the promotion of Josh Burton to the position of full-time maintenance supervisor number 1043 at the rate of $28.98 per hour, which is a grade 12, step 3, to be effective April 13th, 2026, with a 180-day probationary period. Also on April 13th, I approved for the Department of Water Resources the promotion of Jacob Pitchler to the position of wastewater plant operator number 1, 2326 at the rate of $27.76 per hour, to be effective April 12th, 2026, with a 30-day determination period followed by a 90-day probationary period. And that is all.
Thank you.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Adrian Gorton with the Commissioner's Office. Today's financials include, among other things, a supplemental appropriation from the Commissioners in the miscellaneous insurance expense account in preparation for paying the county's insurance bill. There's cash transfer from the general fund to Family First Council for our April through May 2026 commitment. There's also a transfer from the Commissioners' General Fund Capital Transfers Out account to the Building Improvements Fund for 2026 projects. There's a transfer from the General Fund Commissioners' Miscellaneous Levy Reimbursement account to the JFS Children's Services Transfer In Revenue account for the first half Children's Services Levy Reduction Payment. And there's a transfer from the Juvenile Court General Fund Hospitalization and OPERS accounts to the Care and Custody Fund for payments that were made in error from Care and Custody. Among the encumbrances are several travel encumbrances, one from the Common Police Court to attend the 2026 Court Information Technology Officers Consortium 2026 Security for Justice Summit in Austin, Texas, from the Engineers Office to attend the County Engineers Association of Ohio Bridge Workers, Supervisors, and Engineers Conference in Newark, Ohio, from Job and Family Services to attend the Ohio Job and Family Services Directors Conference in Columbus, Ohio, from the Juvenile Court to attend the Ohio Bailiffs and Court Officers Association 2026 Spring Conference in Newark, Ohio, and from the Treasurer's Office to attend the County Treasurers Association of Ohio Spring Conference in Columbus, Ohio. There are also two then and nows encumbrances from the Sheriff's Office to Lake Geauga Recovery Centers for program expenses from January 2026, and to FSP America LLC for doorless lockers, both of which were not previously encumbered. Among the vouchers is $317,618.85 from Community Development to 7145 Pine LLC for the Brownfield Remediation Grant Reimbursement Project. And finally, there's a revenue certification from the Commissioners in the Building Improvements Fund for additional unbudgeted revenue received in 2026.
So I just have a comment, and there's a lot of travel expenses on the financials this month, including $2,000 for someone, I assume probably just one person, to go to Austin, Texas. And I mean, taxpayers are under real pressure right now, particularly when it comes to property taxes. And so I would just encourage our offices, our departments to be mindful about that when it comes to these discretionary travel expenses. But I'll make a motion to approve the finance rules.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you very much. The next item is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the certification request to County Auditor, request a Board of Commissioners quarterly use of county credit cards pursuant to ORC 301.27 for the year 2026, quarters 1 through 4, to increase the quarterly use of the Geauga Credit Union Visa cards in the amount of $1,000 for each quarter. What we actually did here was just added another GL account, one that is used by Megan Erickson in our office for administrative expenses. She's going to be going to a seminar, and we were able to pay for it out of those grant funds. So
I'll move to approve number 5.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
thank you. The next item on the agenda here is the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board award the competitive sealed proposals to Maximus U.S. Services Incorporated for the preparation of the Geauga County Cost Allocation Plan, as they represent the offerer with the most advantageous proposal to the county based on rankings performed by the county pursuant to ORC 307.862, Section A, 2, and E.
So Adrian, for people that this may be new to them, can you talk about why this service is needed for the county?
We are required by law to have a cost allocation plan in order to receive federal funds, particularly from JFS. And this is the opportunity that the county has to recoup some of the expenses of the general fund from accounts and departments that are outside the general fund. So each year I send several reports to the company that does the cost allocation. It's for several years now, it's been Maximus. and they plug all that data into their formulas and spreadsheets and spit out cost allocations really for all the departments within the county. And then we bill certain departments for that cost allocation.
Can you talk about how you did this scoring matrix and the data? Like, how many people were involved in the process? Like, any insight you can provide on how that was handled?
There were 3 companies that submitted proposals. I worked with another county and kind of used their proposal for the competitive sealed proposals, and came up with the method by which all the proposals were judged, and they were judged based on the responsiveness and clarity of the proposal, the cost, the background and experience of the bidder, the technical capability, the project approach, and the past performance. Some of those are obviously subjective based on my viewing of the proposals. Maximus, based on particularly on their past performance, since they are our current consultant, they have developed our current plan. They have extensive Ohio clients, and they are the CCAO recommended firm. So that, based on also their background and experience, the fact that they are in 49 of the 50 states doing cost allocation plans, and they were founded back in 1975. So based on those 2 things, which they basically had a perfect score on those for us, they achieved a score of 89.25 versus the other 2 consultants.
Thank you. And then how long is the term of the agreement going to be? Do we know that yet?
It's 5 years.
Oh, 5 years, okay.
Yes.
Because I saw it went up every year, but it wasn't clear to me how long we were locking in for
They-
some of the proposals.
Yeah, some of the proposals did have a gradual increase in the cost. Maximus committed to 5 years at the $13,000 figure,
Okay, very good.
which is what they're currently charging us.
Oh, all right, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve number 6.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Adrian.
Good morning.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Item number 7, County Engineer's Office is requesting the board award the bid to Fetchco Excavating LLC for the replacement of the Pettibone Road Bridge structure BR 0607-C-01250 2026 in Bainbridge Township in the amount of $1,209,979.23, as they represented the lowest and best bid, and the bid bond submitted shall serve as a performance bond for this project.
Shane, per Mr. Howard's question,
Yes.
could you talk about where the funding comes from for this project?
So he and I were talking briefly after his comment period there. This does not have NOACA funds. It is on a federal route, so it would be eligible, but it did not receive funding through NOACA. I don't want to misstate. I believe that there is CEAO funds associated with this project, which is the County Engineers Association of Ohio. They have provided us federal funding through their program on a number of federally eligible bridges. And I believe that's what the funding is on this project as well.
And then OPWC had nothing to do with this project?
Not this one,
Okay.
but we have used state grant program for other bridges around the county. There's a Bascom Road Bridge that will be coming through here later in the construction season that has Public Works state grant fund that supports that project.
I'll make a motion to approve number 7.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I think it's going to rain.
Maybe, just maybe.
Just a tad.
Bring her umbrella. Good morning, Celesta.
Moving up in the world, no scooter.
All right.
Okay, item number 8, the Recorder's Office requesting the board approve and execute
the Geauga County, Ohio Media Conversion Agreement with Fiddler Technologies to provide image processing and importing to comply with Senate Bill 94. Completion of this project will be within 60 days of the date of execution of the agreement and not to exceed $45,000. This goes with when I came to you beforehand for the money to scan the images or in collaboration with the Archives Department. So Archives did their portion of the scanning. This is the portion where the vendor will convert and upload into the system that I currently have.
Put the microphone closer to you.
Sorry.
And then this is a requirement of Senate Bill 94, correct? All right. And then I see that the agreement's for $39,000, and then it talks about optional indexing services. Is that how we got to the $45,000 that's being asked for?
So there were some issues with the number of images. They're estimating the cost until they know exactly how many images. So that's why we did a little extra in hopes that they won't need all of that.
Right, and then you don't have to come back.
Correct.
To say you need 5 more images or whatever.
Correct, because we're on a deadline. Like our deadline is
understand.
the end of June. So.
And that's per state law, correct?
Correct. Okay. That is not mine.
I'll make a motion to approve number 8.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Celeste. Okay, there's 2 stickies because one is.
Scott Hildenbrand, Tom Rowland from the Sheriff's Office.
Make sure you get close to the microphone.
I'm not getting any closer.
Okay.
Start eating the
Just
microphone.
thought I'd ask. Thought I would ask.
We got items 9, 10, and 11. That's the sale of the patrol cars that we're not using anymore. They're two 2017 and one 2018 Ford Explorers. The fleet manager has researched generally what they get from Gov Deals average, as well as some extra because we throw some equipment in there that we can't use anymore on the new cars, and it needs to be replaced anyway. So the fair price is $9,600. They've come out and looked at them, and they're good with it. It's good for us because it's less work we have to do taking all that stuff, cleaning them out. It's a good price. I mean, you're talking about, 8 and 9-year-old cars.
And they have a lot of miles on them too. I looked at that's not on the agenda, but these all have 135 plus 100,000 miles on.
And Ashtabula is happy to get them.
I mean, good for them, I guess, if they,
Right.
if they want.
I think it's a win-win
Perhaps.
for both of us. So, and then next week, Trumbull County Sheriff's Office is coming up to look at a couple more. So because we got so many cars all at once because of the way that the cycle went, we're going to be getting rid of a bunch of cars too. So.
Okay, got it. And it looks from, what I read from the ORC 30712D allows you to sell the property without advertisement or public notice because it's going to another police department. That's correct? Okay.
Right. Yeah, and we've done this for years. We sold cars to as far away as Morgan County. In the same situation, especially when we sell to another sheriff's office, we don't even have to take the markings off because they use the same exact markings everywhere in the state, and so that saves us from having to strip them down and saves them from having to remark them.
Yeah. All right, I'll make a motion for 9, 10, 11.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler. Aye. Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Now I understand why you explained this.
Yeah, it
I see now.
spacing on the contract.
Good morning, Jessica Bold, Geauga County Department on Aging. We're requesting the board approve and execute the certification request to the county auditor and request to Board of Commissioners quarterly use of county credit cards pursuant to ORC 301.27 for the year 2026, quarters 1, 2, 3, and 4, to increase the quarterly use of the Home Depot credit card and the Geauga Credit Union Visa cards in the amount of $1,500 each per quarter. We also added a line item into our account, the 4019 line item, which we had not previously added in before.
I'll move to approve 12.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning, everybody. Liz Rubino with the Maintenance Department.
Rob Weigel with the Maintenance Department.
And I have 13 and 14 on the agenda. So the Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the service contract agreement with Plunkett's Pest Control to perform interior and exterior pest control services on county buildings and safety center per the director for a 3-year period effective April 14, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $40,000. $31,500 for the county buildings, $5,700 for the safety center, and $2,800 for any unforeseen or additional pest control services that may arise. So in that $2,800, this agreement, they do not cover termites nor bed bugs. So if somebody gets bed bugs, we're covered in this agreement. God forbid, I hope we don't get bed bugs, but we're good.
I was going to ask, what kind of pests are we seeing? Do I not want to know that?
Ants,
Okay.
we have ant, I think safety center sometimes gets ants, we get ants. There could be varmints, spiders, snakes, we're covered.
So I've noticed about maintenance agreements lately, it seems like you're doing a lot of like longer term agreements, like this one's a 3-year rather than doing a 1.
And the reason I'm doing that
Okay.
is because I'm locking in a lower price.
Okay, well, that's what I was going to ask.
That's what I'm trying, that's my main goal, so,
It does seem like prices keep going up and up.
Right, and so I'm trying
much.
to lock in prices for as long as I can.
Got it. Do we get any other bids for this? Or
Oh,
did
we
you
did.
ask? Okay.
I thought I put them in there.
I may have missed it. I saw them for the landscaping, but I didn't see it for this one. But this was, you got other bids,
I
and this
did
is
get
the
other
lowest.
bids,
Okay.
correct, yeah.
Okay, very good. I'll make a motion for 13.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
Then the Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve and execute the service contract agreement with Vine Court Landscaping Incorporated to provide annual or semi-annual and as-needed weed control at various county locations and tower sites, as well as needed fertilizations for the director for a period of April 15th, 2026 through October 31st, 2027, in an amount not to exceed $49,870. So this is a 2-year contract, and we have more buildings that we did this year. We're doing Post 2, we're doing Veterans Memorial, and the Veterans Pavilion. So there's 3 extra in that price too.
Yeah, there were a ton of properties listed for that
We have a ton of
price. It seems like a lot of money, but when you see how many properties are being covered in that 2-year period, it seems pretty reasonable, actually. So I'll make a motion for 14.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeWort.
Yes.
All right, I have item number 15. The Maintenance Department is requesting the board approve a merit increase for Rick Wareham, Operations Manager, number 1909, from 3230, grade 14, step 3, to 3548 per hour, grade 14, step 6, to be effective April 12th, 2026, payroll number 9.
Can you talk about the reasoning for this? Say some nice things about Rick.
So, when he took over for the director position, he had a temporary increase of wage, which had expired after 6 months. And where Rick is a very valuable resource, and to align with my organizational chart, he would need to be lifted up to that grade paid to align with the rest of the system that I'm trying to create here at the maintenance department. So
Rick is second in command, right?
he's the operations manager, yes.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Morning, Commissioners. A few items on the agenda. First one is requesting the board approve and authorize Commissioner Spitaleri to execute the request for partial payment number 9 for the Shook Construction Company for the McFarland Wastewater Treatment Plant Project. It's in the amount of $1,335,003.52. And per the OWDA contractor's estimate, we'll also be using $252,977.25 of the current remaining amount in the ARPA that was allocated the original $5 million. It has been reviewed, approved. Unfortunately, this pay request, the file sizes are getting really large, and actually this is why you'll see 2 of them on here. It actually got stuck in our server and never actually got sent out to us from the contractor because of the file size restriction, so hence 2.
Christie just sent that with, that was its own email.
Yeah, so.
It took me 5 attempts to get it to go, and I was like, okay, I have to do this one by itself.
So we're working on a way to reduce the file sizes and maybe reducing taking the project schedule off of it, which seems to be the biggest piece of that estimate.
I'll move to approve this.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Next item is requesting the board approve and authorize Commissioner Spitaleri to execute the request for partial payment number 10 for the McFarland Wastewater Treatment Plant Project in the amount of $1,412,755.86. This is all going to be paid through the OWDA agreement. Has been reviewed by the department and approved in line with this pay request. It puts the project at about 44% complete, which is a little bit ahead of calendar schedule, but right in line now is where we start waiting on vendors. Most of the structural work is done, and we're waiting on the vendors to supply the actual equipment, which has some lead times. So, but we're still tracking to be complete ahead of schedule.
All right, I'll make a motion for that.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you. The next item is requesting the board acknowledge that no bids were received for the Services Center Water Treatment Facility project. That was the upgrade that was advertised. We received no bids. We will be in the next item requesting to go back out to bid and have a plan to reach out more national due to the nature of the project.
Okay. And Christie, we need a motion for 18.
You can do them together if you'd like.
Okay.
So
we can do 18 and 19 together.
item 19 on the agenda is requesting the board grant permission to re-advertise for bids for the Services Center Water Treatment Facility upgrade to be held on May 20th, 26 at 2 p.m. Notice of the bid opening will be advertised on April 17th, April 24th, and on the county website.
I'll move to approve 18 and
Second.
19.
Any discussion? Call for a vote.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda is requesting the board award the bid to Grade Line Incorporated for the Merritt Road Sanitary Sewer Extension Project in the amount of $130,960, even as they represented the lowest and best bid, well below the engineer's estimate. Being one of the first projects out, we get good pricing, and Shane will probably tell you the same thing. The earlier we get out, the better until the market hits. So a good price. Grade Line is reputable. We did receive 5 bids on this one, so it was nice to see that much interest in the project. Eager to get this one done as it's the stepping stone for the new youth home. So
Yeah, unlike the other project.
Is,
It's a lot of interest in this one.
Yeah.
and this is water and sewer extension?
So this is just the sewer.
Just the sewer.
The sewer will be extension along Merritt Road across Ravenwood to get to the north side of Ravenwood Drive. Water is already running along the south side of Ravenwood Drive, so they'll tap in across from the existing facility, the health facility that's down there. So.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve 20.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for vote?
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nick.
Morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Meg Noah, Secretary of the Great Geauga County Fair.
Howard Bates, Director, Geauga County Fair.
So we came today because we have the maintenance shop, which is no longer being used for the maintenance department. They moved to the admin building that we took over last year. So we have the maintenance shop, and we were looking over our lease with the county, and it looks like you have to give us permission to sublease that building. We did have someone interested, but they have gone another direction. But I just wanted to find out if, you guys were comfortable with us subleasing the machine shop, which is on the back of our property. I don't know if you're familiar where it is, but I guess that's...
So we don't know who the tenant will be at this point?
No, what we usually do is we usually only do short-term rentals. That's how we've been doing things up to this point. We've not done any long-term rental agreements other than the ones like Kiwanis has the food booths that, happened during the fair, the new Kiwanis Diner that was Pomona Grange. Those sorts of leases are the only thing that we've done up to this point. So.
And this is the north end of where the Rotary's on the south side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Correct.
It's approximately 30 by 50?
Roughly.
Roughly.
40 by 50, maybe. This came up a couple of months ago. A corporation for profit wanted to rent the building. Our lease with the county, goes back years. It requires to get permission to sublease. In the past, we've never subleased to anybody but nonprofits. Some directors were in favor of leasing. Myself, as one director, I was not in favor. I was concerned on several aspects. Number one, we have a tax exempt status for the property. If you have a for-profit corporation leasing that, I would think it could possibly jeopardize our tax exempt status. And I'm not quite sure the Geauga County Agricultural Society should be in the business of renting to for-profit businesses. I don't think there's any problem with like the Kiwanis or JCs or Eagles or people like that. And
My concern too is an insurance issue too. God forbid something happens, and all of a sudden they lapse in insurance, and that tax issue, what we've gone through with DD has been a nightmare. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, so we don't know if it's a nonprofit or a for-profit that's leasing the space?
I mean, we can move forward with only renting to nonprofits.
I think that would be my
in this
recommendation.
building.
I mean, I think your points are well taken, Mr. Ray.
in this instance, a couple months ago, the people who were for-profit corporation wanted to rent it. And then it came up in our discussions at the board meeting that I wanted to have some input from the commissioners because of the lease.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should also think about, I don't think this is like needs to be done now, but I mean, I think this lease agreement was typed on a typewriter. We should probably be looking at renegotiating this lease and making it more in line with the way the parties actually operate. Because I don't think it's necessarily what this agreement is stating. As you would expect, I mean, it was written in 1980?
Yeah,
April 11th.
it's pretty old.
So that's before I was born. So it's, I think it's just probably time for us to look at that again at some point.
Yeah, I believe our next renewal is, I think I tried to figure this out, 2030 or 2031. So,
I don't know, the amendment that was done has an initial term of 25 years extension, and then it has another 15 in there.
yeah.
So I think it was a total not to exceed 80 total. So I want to say,
65, yeah. The total period of this lease shall not exceed 65 years.
So-
That was the amendment.
yeah. So that included the original and this one, so it can exceed 65 years, so, yeah, it's coming close.
But I think that's just something we should probably have on our radar is, like, I know you have the fair coming up. I'm sure you have a lot of things going on, but that's something we should think about talking about at some point.
Yeah, I mean, we could start trying to figure it out after this fair.
Mm-hmm.
Start working on updating the lease. So,
Well, me personally, I'd be in favor of a nonprofit and help the community out if they need space. So
okay.
that's my thought.
Yeah, I concur. Do we need a motion for that, or are you just generally getting our temperature?
I mean, according to the lease, we have to get your approval, so.
Is there a motion?
So I'll make a motion that, to grant the Fair Board permission to sublease the, what was the name of it, the maintenance?
The old maintenance shop.
The old maintenance shop to a nonprofit.
So it would just be nonprofits, correct?
Yes, that's what I said at the end, yeah.
Okay. So I'll second that.
Any discussion? Call for a vote?
Commissioner Spitaleri.
Aye.
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Okay, and then the next item was the electrical upgrades, which we've applied for capital budget money. The electrical upgrades include the midway panels, which are about 45 years old, and they're rotting, and it's created like a unexpected cost for the Fair Board that we didn't realize we were going to have until last year. So we're working on phases of upgrading the panels unless we are able to get the capital budget money, which we're hoping we can get at least some of it to cover the cost. But the costs right now are $131,000. So we're just making you aware that we have those unforeseen upgrades in the, so there's poles and there's the panels, so the total of $131,000. So we are looking to apply for any other grants. If they come across anyone's desk, I would love to apply for them. But right now I've applied for about 4 to 5 grants, and then the federal, I did for David Joyce and Bernie Marino, their appropriations. So we'll see what happens, but that's just making you aware that we're facing that right now. And lastly is the multipurpose building, which we are
There was also
working-
about the security cameras. Was there something you
Oh,
wanted to
yes.
mention
So
about
the
that?
security cameras, we're trying to upgrade to open gate 2 back up. So I'm also trying to get money. It's about $5,000 so that we can get the appropriate camera to put up at gate 2 so that we can open the gate and be able to securely allow traffic in and out of that gate so that we have like the license plate reader and the night vision on that gate as well as what we have at gate 4 right now. And then OSU Extension Office would be able to have their traffic back, like flowing through that gate. And eventually we're moving down there, so the Secretary's office, the concessions office, the treasurer, and the maintenance will all be in the same building down at that end of the fairgrounds. So it would become probably our main gate. So we're working on that as well. And then to the multipurpose building, which I brought you drawings. You want to start?
I can. Several years ago, 21, 22, thought process was to develop a multipurpose building on the fairgrounds. We applied for a couple grants. We received 2 grants, a total of $750,000. We had some preliminary drawings and cost estimates, and it boiled down that what we'd like to build, we don't have enough money to build it entirely, so we're going to plan on doing it in 2 phases, possibly 3 phases. The first phase is the Merchants Hall 2, which I think Jim and Ralph were in there last year. And so you know what it looks like.
Yes.
So the first phase would be, it's on the, if you're looking at the outside would look like this. And it would include redoing the restrooms and adding showers to that restroom area.
Oh, and here's,
If you got to this sheet here, you
These
can.
are extras too.
Currently, there's no showers in that end of the fairgrounds. The only showers we have on the fairgrounds are on Cook Street. This would supply us a couple family showers and 4 showers in the men's and 4 showers in the women's, 12 women's restrooms, and I think 5 men's restrooms and urinals on the other side. And the cost estimates, we're hoping to be able to do a little bit more. But we're at about 881 on this project to complete phase 1. And that's got a contingency of like 135,000 for what known, because that thing was built in 1950, I think. So we're not quite sure what we're going to find in the sanitaries and things like that. So we didn't want to, put a low number in there. We want to try to be realistic so we don't have any surprises. Our plans in the next couple of weeks, we hopefully get this out to bid. We're hoping to be completed by August 1st, so we'll be able to use it for the fair.
This wall here, is this facing east or west?
That's facing north, I believe.
North.
it's where the current restroom facility is.
Okay.
And then, this is just one, drawing of what the room you guys were in last year, all the county thing.
Yeah.
The second phase is to raise that roof, put some new lighting in there. We were kind of surprised. The architect fell in love with the steel structure that was in the building. So they come up with, I think, some good ideas on how to utilize what we have and try to save us some money.
So the square footage would be about how much on that building?
What's that?
How big is that? Is the square footage then going to be for that first phase?
I think they're 56, well, the building in the front is like 5,600 feet, the open area.
Yep.
The restrooms, I'm not sure what that square footage is. Yeah, it doesn't have that, that has a,
And then as far as the capital, because you had also some state money that was also.
yes,
And
we have
that's still,
750.
that's still available to be able to do?
Yes.
Yeah. Because I know that there was a certain amount of time restraint, I think, on that also, that you had to do it by a
End of
certain.
year.
Oh, yeah, so.
Well,
that
there's some of it's the end of June and the rest of it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
why we're getting started here to get
Sure,
this
sure.
done. It'll be a big improvement for the fairgrounds. We definitely need restrooms and showers.
Oh, yeah. Adrian, have we done, I know for so many years, we did our annual contribution to the fair. Have we done that this year yet, and what about last year?
Last year was the poultry building.
Poultry, okay. Because that's always something that has been something I've thought, that we've always done too, to assist with different projects. And then the other thing is as far as that electrical panel, I'm not sure if it falls under, maybe with Virginia with the Community Economic Development Block Grant possibility. It won't, Gina? No, okay. But yeah. 100%. My position with the fairgrounds. I think that it's an investment not just for today but for tomorrow. And I think that for the kids that participate in that, it keeps our county strong. And I know that this is a super need. It's been a long time coming for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
I also got sponsorship booklet.
All right.
Thank you.
If you notice, everything's red, white, and blue, you know, to blend in with America 250.
Good morning, Commissioners. Austin Rice, EMA.
Morning.
I have number 22. This is regarding WENS for 911 dispatch. The Emergency Management Agency is requesting the Board to extend the term of the original contract with Inspiring Logistics, LLC, up to and including April 23, 2028, to furnish the Geauga County EMA mass notification system in accordance with the first addendum previously executed by the parties. This term extension shall be $23,650 annually, with 1/3 being paid by the Emergency Management Agency, $7883.34, 1/3 being paid by the Sheriff's Office, $7883.34, and 1/3 being paid by the Local Emergency Planning Committee, LEPC, $788.34. All the remaining terms and conditions of the original contract and first addendum shall remain in full force and effect.
So this,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. You go.
Yeah, this is something that has been done annually, and I'm not exactly sure how long, but at least a dozen years or so, we've been working with WENS for 911 dispatch. The reason we're currently under contract with them for a few more years here, and the only reason I'm actually here is because when I was talking to Laura about this, she, for some reason, didn't like some of the language in some previous motions, so she just wanted a updated motion to confirm this information.
When you say motion, you mean an amendment?
This motion here.
Oh, so she wants it
yeah,
explicitly, the funding to be explicitly, is
Yeah,
that the issue?
yeah. This motion is what she wanted.
Okay.
We already have an addendum that we're operating under, so nothing has changed with the finances or the terms or anything like that to the services. She just said to update the motion language.
Got
That
it.
was
So I'll make a motion to approve 22.
Second.
Any discussion? Call for a vote?
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Brackey.
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Thank you. And then we're going to do number 23, I think, right?
So we're making our way, Commissioners, as they get set up here. We're making our way through all these different presentations from the directors, just giving you regular updates on their operations. And it's really been the first one since Austin has taken over. He had quite a robust strategic plan when he came in, a definite vision for the department. So this is just a nice periodic update for you to hear from him on the progress he's made so far. Sure.
I'm just not sure. Thanks. Thanks. Okay. Perfect. So I was asked to do a bit of an update on what is EMA, what are we doing, what are we working on, and it's actually a bit of a challenge to do that in such a short time frame, from what I understand. So we're going to just see how this goes, and I'll probably be spewing a lot of information out, and we'll just see how this goes. So as you all know, I've been the director here for about 8 months now. And we have 3 full-time staff. We're a smaller department. Can you hear if I'm looking this way? We have a smaller department. So we have a full-time deputy director, a full-time planner trainer, both of which have been here for less than 8 months as well. We do have a part-time fiscal administrative position as well. Oh, I can change it. I would. Okay. So smaller department, but a newer team overall for the EMA. So what we generally encounter, and what I've encountered in my life as well, whenever anyone asks me what I do, is nobody knows what EMA is, and generally people are uninterested when you hear that that's what I work for. But here is EMA, some of the roles and responsibilities of EMA. There are, numerous federal and state regulations and laws pertaining to EMA, how it needs to be set up, who needs to have one, and what the responsibilities are. But there's a few specific things I wanted to highlight just for our short time here today. Like with most things in our government in the United States, this is a tiered system, so you have federal, state, and local level. So FEMA is what everybody knows. That's the Federal Emergency Management Agency. And of course, all the states need to have a state EMA, which is OEMA, or Ohio Emergency Management Agency. And per the Ohio Revised Code, all 88 counties in the state need to have an emergency management agency or a program as well. So that's where we come into play. We're the local EMA branch. Now, according to the Ohio Revised Code, we are established under 5502271, where the county needs to establish an emergency management program. And there's one phrase I specifically wanted to read, which is a good, quick reference to what the responsibilities of the EMA are, which is that the agency is responsible for preparedness, planning, mitigation, response, and recovery related to natural and man-made disasters, as well as civil defense. Civil defense is actually what originally emergency management came from. You had civil defense in the United States, and then through new laws, regulations, updates, and technology in the industry, 9/11, Hurricane Katrina, it eventually evolved into the modern field of emergency management. Specific to Geauga County, unlike most other counties, we also have to deal with the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or the NRC, because there's only 6 nuclear counties in the state of Ohio, and Geauga County is one of them. So we also have to participate in the state's nuclear program, working closely with these 6 other counties, the state and FEMA, and the power plant utilities as well. You can switch. So you saw briefly in that general description of emergency management, you saw some keywords: planning and training and mitigation. Usually you see a graphic such as this, and there's lots of graphics. They're all fairly similar that show something like the 4 phases of emergency management: mitigation, preparedness, response, recovery. You might have preparation or prevention. You might have training or exercise. There's other words that are sometimes used, but it basically boils down to these 4 phases usually. Or you might have somebody talking about the before, during, and after phases of a disaster or an incident. But it boils down to what you need to know is that there's a non-emergency duty and an emergency duty for the EMA. Most people think of an emergency management agency as a response organization. You're either responding to that tornado or you're waiting for the call to go respond to that tornado. And while it's true that we do respond to things, that's actually not the majority of what we do. That's a small amount of what we do. Probably about 80-90% of what we do is actually in this preparation and mitigation, this non-emergency duty phase. That's more of our, what you could say is a day-to-day or a bread and butter type of thing we do, is the preparedness, the mitigation element. So preparedness generally covers plans and regulations, trainings, exercises, drills. So some examples of what we've been working on or the things that we do in that regard would be a bunch of plans and regulations we have to maintain for the county. There's the RERP, which is the Radiological Emergency Response Plan. And that comes along with dozens and dozens of SOGs as well. There's the Hazard Mitigation Plan. There's the Emergency Operations Plan. That's the multi-100-page big plan for the county. There's a Hazmat Chemical Spill Response Plan, and we have to review lots of school plans and other safety plans as well. And they're all in different cycles. This is done every year. This is every 2 years. This one's every 3 or 5. So you're managing all the cycles of the regulations of all these plans. Of course, when you have all these plans, you're required to then also drill or exercise on these plans. So we have what everyone thinks of for EMA who knows anything about Geauga County EMA, which is some people knows that we deal with the nuclear power plant in Perry. So we have all these Perry drills. Everyone thinks of the big Perry drills every other year. Well, this is true. We do have to do these things. There's also smaller Perry or nuclear drills throughout the year that nobody knows about that we have to do. And because we have to participate in the state's nuclear program, we actually have to help with the other 2. There's 3 nuclear power plants that affect the state of Ohio. So we have to help with those other plants as well. So we're doing big nuclear drills every year, and many of them some years, just not always Perry. Excuse me. But besides all these regular drills we have to do all the time, there's specific drills where we have to work with community partners. We might be working with schools or churches or the hospital for other specific drills upon request or where needs might arise. So just recently we did a drill, an active threat drill with NDCL, which was very successful with lots of partners. So we either might be hosting the drill or helping somebody put a drill together that they request because that's something we are subject matter experts in. Or other entities might have drills and need representation from Geauga County, and thus we represent in those drills. For example, the health department recently had an epidemic exercise that we participated in. So besides plans, regulations, and drills, we also have trainings. And when I say trainings, it's not that we are getting trained, even though we are trained sometimes. It's that we have to train other people and do presentations for other people. So we have what's known as the Comprehensive Training Program. That specifically is, we have to do that every year, training dozens and dozens and dozens of first responders, fire, police, bus drivers, schools, nursing homes. There's a lot of people we have to do trainings for every single year regarding the nuclear power plant and other such disasters. And that's our regular routine annual training. But again, we do specific trainings as well upon request. One thing we've been doing more recently as a new type of training is doing some peer support trainings in coordination with the Geauga County Sheriff's Office and putting together an upcoming regional first responder wellness conference as well. So all those are some examples of our day-to-day types of activities that we do. Excuse me. But, of course, we have the response or the emergency-themed activities as well, which is what everyone thinks is more exciting. So the EMA responds to complex, rapidly evolving, and large-scale incidents. And large-scale is the key word here, because we are not actually a response agency. We are not primarily a response agency, I should say. We're not fire or police. We are not the ones, the EMS, going to that car wreck or that heart attack. We're not the first people there doing that. That's considered a smaller scale emergency, where the EMA looks at a larger scale incident. That might be a multi-jurisdictional incident that's affecting a larger region of the county, or it might be a local incident that has gotten very large and is expending a lot of resources, or they need additional support, in which case we can try to support them in that regard. We work with part of the incident command structure focused on response coordination, resource allocation, situational analysis, and interagency communication, because of course what happens in a large incident, you need more help with communication or resources or problem solving in that regard. So that's how we come into play and help there. Generally speaking, the EMA, at least here historically, has been a lot more reactive, and we are attempting a much more proactive approach in regarding to everything we do, but specifically response, and that we've gotten some really good results and feedback regarding that. So for this proactive approach, we wanted to be a lot more mobile. So we have MDTs now, which is the mobile data terminals. We have radios. We can see and hear what the first responders are seeing and hearing, what the dispatchers are seeing or hearing. Not just in our physical office, but we can be mobile. We can be on the road. We can be at the scene. We can be in the car or a different location now, and be able to have the same situational awareness. In Geauga County, the typical hazards that you might expect, natural hazards, that are more routine for the county, you could say, winter weather conditions. Everyone knows we have winter weather storms. Anything with wind, so severe storms, tornadoes, power outages. Of course, these are the big things that could be considered more routine for our region or our area. And of course, if these things work together, power outages with windstorms or with winter storms, that's when you start getting more complicated scenarios. So some examples of these recently. We've had 2 tornadoes in 8 months since I've been here. One, ironically, was on the day I became director in August, and then one was 2 weeks ago. But tornadoes themselves are not the worst, necessarily, wind issues we may have. We have other windstorms we've experienced that aren't even related to tornadoes. Well, that was interesting. With, of course, power outages associated with this. We've been supporting the county offices and administration during severe weather. And even in March, there was that school threat, the multi-school threat incident that was going on as well. So besides these specific types of events, we generically also work with the special teams in the county. There's fire investigation, hazmat, drone teams, and you can see a few call-out numbers there from just 2025 alone. We support those teams as well. And last but not least, the recovery element, trying to get things back to normal after a large incident. So there's sheltering, warming and cooling centers, working with the utility companies on restoration and specific issues in that regard. That's kind of some of the recovery efforts that we work on, usually. All right, you're free to do that now. Really quick, 2025 funding for our department. Again, we're a small department, not quite $400,000 for our funding sources, but the main bit that anyone needs to know out of the gate is about 91% of our funding is grants, primarily 65% from Perry, the nuclear power plant, because we have to participate in that nuclear program for the state. There is about 18% of our funding from federal grants, about 5% from state grants, and 3% from the LEPC. And the LEPC is the Local Emergency Planning Committee, which was referenced a little bit earlier. That's also grants, but that has to do with hazardous chemicals in the county, chemical spills. They work with the hazmat team, chemical facilities. And then 9% from the general fund. Feel free. So because this can't be a very long thing, I'm trying to go very quick here. But besides all of those things that we do and have to maintain regularly, as I mentioned, we're a new team and a new agency, basically. So we are also trying to look forward and assess the team itself. How is the EMA, are we efficient? Can we be better? How can we move forward? So we are looking at, we've identified about 6 areas that we want to look at and that we're working on ideas for trying to do better for the citizens, for the other departments, just to be better as an EMA in general. So we're looking at the organizational structure and staffing, trying to improve any of the preparedness, response, recovery, or mitigation functions thereof. Communication systems modernization. We're trying to implement a multi-layer emergency communication system and strategy that increases reach, spread, accessibility, and public trust. The EOC, I haven't even mentioned yet. That's the Emergency Operations Center for the county. That's really at our physical location. It's the big room, you think stereotypically, where everyone sits at all these tables and makes decisions and tries to problem solve during large incidents. Well, we want to make sure the EOC remains operationally ready with modern tools, clear activation procedures, and well-trained personnel. Strengthened recovery and resilience planning. We're looking to build a county recovery framework and resilience pipeline that accelerates restoration, supports survivors, integrates mitigation. And the training and exercise program, which I mentioned we already have our training and exercise program, but we'd like to expand that to better enable Geauga County citizens and first responders to prepare for, respond to, and better recover from emergencies. And last but not least is public-facing visibility and branding. I may have mentioned at the beginning of this that when you say, oh, I work for the Emergency Management Agency, most people say to me, oh, okay, whatever that is, because they don't know what EMA is. They think you must be EMS or you must be, I don't know what they think. But what we want to do is increase public awareness and trust through consistent branding, clear messaging, and accessible preparedness resources. People should know what EMA is, and we should be a source you go to if you have questions or needs, if you want to learn about severe weather in the county or what to do in this situation. We want to be more available to more people. So that's the quick update, as best as I could do. And does anyone have any questions?
Could you run through a tabletop exercise that we do every other year in conjunction with Perry Nuclear Plant?
Oh, sure. So the big Perry drills that we do every other year, and this year is actually going to be a little bit bigger than usual, ironically. But typically it's about a 4-hour-ish experience during the day of the drill. There's also a what's called the dry run, which is a practice drill the month before. But there's, I don't know how many people in that facility. There's probably at least 40, 50 people in that facility. You have a lot of people in the big room, in the operations room, which is going to be representatives from fire and law enforcement, from the hospital and from school services, all different industries, engineers. And this, it's kind of like it's almost like a performance because you have to meet all these regulations because FEMA will come to our facility and grade Geauga County we have to meet all these deliverables, and then there's kind of a script that happens where the plant, we're getting, there's a 5-way phone and different means of communications between us and the plant and then the state of Ohio and also Lake and Ashtabula counties. And there's a lot of different entities that are working this exercise concurrently. And so we're in communications with each other. There's an issue that's going to happen to the plant as part of the simulation. While the plant is figuring it out, we're getting information live, and we have to make decisions live based on different prompts and different things that happen during the exercise. It's many hours long, and there's an executive room with the commissioners, the sheriff, we're all in this executive room making certain large decisions, declare an emergency, when do we do this and when do we do that. The operations room's taking care of a lot of people in the field. Do we have to shut down these roads? Was there an accident here? How do we reroute traffic? Or different things related to if there's an issue happening at the plant. Is the issue still contained within the plant's boundaries, or what if it starts to leak into some type of radiological or substance to the public? Then what do we do? It's that specific one that's the big one that we do every other year. We also have to help participate in that with Beaver Valley and Davis Bessie plants as well. We do that one's 1 year and then 2 are on the other year, and it's kind of like an every other thing. But we go there helping as evaluators and controllers. And then they come and help us because we have people from the state and different counties, and it's a big thing for sure.
Could you talk a little bit about, just for the public, like what are some ways that the public can feel your impact? Like as we head into the summer, could you just kind of talk about maybe just some of the ways that the public can feel that you exist?
Sure. So what we're really trying to do right now is we've had pretty much zero public outreach in the past as an entity. So we're really trying to build up our social media page and relay information out to people. We're trying to build up our website a little bit as a better resource. And we recently put together a hazard mitigation outreach website with interactive hazard maps for the county. That's been very beneficial. In the past, the hazard mitigation plan, which is a public plan that talks about hazards in the county. In the past, that's been a good resource for schools and entities like that who have to do their plans. But now we put it together on a publicly accessible website which has interactive hazard maps, and it also has links to the plan and things like that. So we're trying to get more outreach and information out to people. And that's part of our public-facing visibility and branding is trying to get a lot more interaction with social media and websites and other public presentations. Of course, sometimes we do presentations upon request. We've done even groups I've never heard of. I didn't know there was a Donkey and Mule Association of Geauga County, but they've requested me to do a presentation before. There's lots of groups that we interact with, Rotaries and churches, and anyone who has a presentation request, they ask, and we'll come and give a presentation on whatever you want, basically. So we're trying to do that and expand that.
I can tell you have a baby at home because that baby crying in the hallway did not faze you
Yeah.
at all. Just
Yeah.
cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
Is there any questions from the audience?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Jim McNeil from Troy Township, 15-year veteran of Troy Township Fire Department, Captain EMT. First, I believe, director of the Geauga County Hazmat team. I wrote the original SOPs, did the original training, gathered the original equipment from donations from the community, and we put together a team that during our observed trial by the state finished #1 in the state. So my question for you, this is a complicated question, one that I'm sure you've wrestled with. Who and how do you assure compliance with 29 CFR 1910.120 paragraph Q? That's a big one. That's SOP, that's medical records, that's training records. That's how you keep that team trained, safe, ready, and alive.
So I don't have a great answer for you right now. However, the guy who's in charge of our hazmat team, he does a really great job with the training and maintenance of that team. With these special teams, drone team, hazmat team, etc., they all have a team leader, and they do a really good job running their teams right now. So that's the person I would refer to.
Who is it, by the way?
Eric Anderson. Yeah. He's who I would go to first with this question for details before I can speak on that. I don't want to misspeak.
Well, I figured it was down at the department level.
Yes.
That there could be some assistance involved.
Sure. Yeah. We work closely.
Big jump.
Yeah, we work closely with Eric. That's right. We work closely with Eric. He helps us with our hazmat plan. We work together with him on that, and with the LAPC funding sources and equipment and things like that as well.
Along those lines, something that Austin identified right away is sort of a need to go back to bare bones and reestablish procedures, operating procedures, and stuff like that. So I imagine that chapter you'll get to.
There's a long list of things.
Austin's really blessed to have a really qualified team. They're actually overqualified between Brandon and Blake there, who are doing this because they're so passionate about this subject matter. So he is blessed with riches of talent and experience, but they've broken it apart and are rebuilding it up. So they'll eventually, I'm confident they'll get to that.
Yeah, we have a long list to go through. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the detailed report, and periodically we're going to have other departments drill down, and then the public can know a lot of details about each department in the county.
We just figured it's good business for the directors to kind of come and share with you periodically some of their successes, their plans. A lot of them have internal, plans and strategies and goals of their own that align to, the strategic guidance that Mark and I had put out. with your direction, and so just these periodic updates are good, because sometimes we get lost in kind of the current operations of daily business, but kind of pausing and updating you, we thought was a good way forward. I had one other item that I just wanted to briefly touch on for board discussion, if you don't mind. So we were talking about working sessions. We have a working session on the 23rd. We are going to move that to have a discussion with the building department. We were going to talk facilities, but I've been having discussions with different elected officials that might be possible tenants for the old courthouse. So as we talked about also, that we definitely need to have a working session to talk about who would be a good tenant for the old courthouse before we proceed with planning renovations, because it would make sense, right, to design a space that's built for whoever the occupant would be. In talking with some of these elected officials, we feel that waiting until after the primary is a good way forward. So sometime in May, we'd like to have I know there's a lot going on. We don't have to answer it today. It's just for discussion and for thought. Sometime in May, in and around the budget schedule that we have, is tucking in a working session of some kind to discuss the old courthouse and then tenancy of it. I really don't want to wait until June. I feel like that's just a little bit too far out. So if we could find a way to tuck an hour somewhere in our May schedule, I'd be really grateful for that.
You're thinking a Thursday?
Probably a Thursday. If there's one day that works better for you. I know we've got a lot going on that month, so. And then my plan is, I'm having these discussions with those candidates that would be likely tenants for that space. And then my goal would be to have them in the audience to be able to provide feedback as we engage in these different scenarios and different discussions. That way it's completely open, completely transparent on how we arrive at that decision of who would be the best occupant for the space. And in some cases, I think it might be clear, but I would definitely like to go through that process of having the dialogue with those parties so that everything is out in the open and transparent. And then that gives maintenance the go-ahead to start down that, the facility process to get that space on the list for renovations. So that's all. So thank you for that.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have for board discussion, unless you have anything.
I just, did Lake Geauga Recovery have a couple comments or a little report?
Good morning. Melanie Blasco, Lake Geauga Recovery Centers.
Christine Lakomiak, Executive Director, Geauga Board. So I believe last week you had asked to gather some more information regarding the recovery house of Lake Geauga Recovery Centers. I had asked Melanie to be here. I think that the question was if there was communication about the recovery house going in that location. Melanie had a meeting with Father Scott prior to our meeting on April 1st regarding a communication plan regarding what the sale of the old rectory would be. And the reason for a communication plan is to understand exactly what a recovery house is and how the messaging would go to the parishioners and the neighbors. I'll let her describe it, but she said it was a very good meeting, and she thought it was very educational.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. We had a meeting with their communication coordinator and their attorney and Father Scott. And I'm sorry.
Microphone closer to you.
So I think they also were educated on the whole concept of recovery house and what exactly it is. So it was a very good meeting. I think they're just trying to get ahead of questions they might anticipate from their parishioners or from the community.
Isn't there like 2 or 3 other recovery houses in the city of Chardon?
Owned by Lake Geauga Center?
No, from a religious group or this and that, or?
I know what's under Lake Geauga Center. I mean, we do have one in Munson Township and one in Chardon.
Sheriff, how many recovery center or group living homes approximately in the city of Chardon?
I know there's at least one across from the police station, and there's a private one in Hamden.
Okay. Thank you.
And would this be for men or women?
It's for men.
Men, okay. And so at this point, there hasn't been any communication with the school at St. Mary's about this location?
No.
So that's part of the communication plan. And this city of Chardon was in our meeting last week and they were unaware of this. Has there been any discussion with them since?
No, and I don't know that we're really required to. I mean, we do as a courtesy, but the fact that people in recovery are protected by the ADA and federal fair housing, and also really strongly believe that they have a right to privacy. So we've not had a conversation with them yet.
Okay. They said that there would be some sort of permitting you would have to do.
Some sort of what?
Permitting. So small group homes are permitted, they have, there's it's in a historic district. There's some issue, there could be issues with off-street parking as well, they mentioned. So I think there's probably some conversation you'd want to have with them.
Okay. It is still considered a single-family home.
Yeah.
And there'd be a maximum of 5 people living
Correct.
there that are non-related?
Correct.
That's considered a group
That's
house?
No, that's considered a single-family home.
Okay.
It's not considered a group home.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, it would require a zoning permit for the change of use, it says. That's what their city manager is saying. I'm not an expert in any of this. I'm just telling you what the city is saying, that you need a zoning permit.
I'll have to check with them because my understanding is it's considered a single-family home with a number of unrelated adults. And we've not had to get zoning permits in the other municipalities in Chardon or Munson. But I'll follow up on that.
Thanks for the update. Thanks for coming in.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other items from the board, on board discussion? Okay. Okay, moving on to item 24, public comment. Those wishing to make a comment or ask a question on matters of concern, please raise your hand to be called upon. Begin by stating your full name and township or municipality, and you will have up to 3 minutes to comment or ask a question, and are kindly asked to refrain from disorderly or disruptive conduct.
Go ahead, Noel.
Howard, South Russell Village. This is what NOACA has sent us. It's a document without a date on it, no signature on it, nothing on it, including the fact that this information is incorrect. And nobody's going to come from NOACA, Grace Vellucci or whatever her name is, Vellucci, and talk to us about this. We have had no buggy paths built in several years. They said they gave us $9 million for buggy paths. Never happened. I'll make some copies next week and provide everybody with a copy of this, including the newspapers, because they need to figure out what's going on. This is nonsense. As I said earlier, I won't use it again until the end. Howard Bates is here. He owns Armed Trucking. He has over 200 big trucks, diesel trucks. That's not included in here at all. The gas tax that he pays on diesel. You need to go to Gas Buddy and some of these other organizations that are truthful about what's going on in this county and where our gas tax money is being spent. The engineer's office do one heck of a good job here, as do some of the townships, as does, in my case, South Russell Village. But it's done because people know what's going on and they have the money to do it. They promised Village of Chagrin Falls and South Russell Village $2 million for buggy paths or something. I don't know what that is. It's not going to happen. So question to the people in front, when's Grace coming to talk to us? Ralph?
I've tried to call twice and it goes to voicemail,
You gonna call this week, hopefully?
and it basically says message, or the voicemail is full and I can't leave a message.
Well, that's good. It's full of, you know what, down there too. Great, Carolyn, are you gonna call Grace this week?
No,
Why not?
I've emailed with her. She's indicated
Why
she,
don't you call her?
because I don't,
When is she coming out to talk to South Russell Village and to Geauga County? Jim, are you gonna call Grace this week?
I have in the past, and where Howard got this information, it was at the Township Association meeting.
Nobody knew about the
And,
Township Association meeting, even though the villages went to it and everything else. It was never notified to everybody here, never.
Well, I'm not in charge of the Township Association.
You're not in charge
I went there,
of this either, Jim.
I went
But
there,
this is
and I got you that fact sheet that they
And
created
nobody
through
got
ODOT.
to hand out to
And
everybody here. Thank you.
anybody else, public comment? Could you please stand behind the microphone so everybody can hear? Yeah, please.
Thank you. Jim McNeil, Troy Township. For 50 years, I've been a specialty gases chemist. I have 15 patents. I've spent my career analyzing emissions from fossil fuel burning plants, designing equipment to analyze this, and actually making EPA protocol calibration gases so that people that run those facilities can daily calibrate their instrumentation according to very strict EPA records. I am cautioning you. I am cautioning you specifically on NOACA's climate action plan. First thing that should jump out at anybody is that there was a greenhouse gas inventory performed, and they wanted to know how many cattle were out here, how many horses were out here, how many tons of feed, and how many tons of manure. Now, what do you think that has to do with the climate action plan? Let's go right back to the very premise here. And the very premise is that CO2 is the evil climate-killing gas that mankind is generating. All right? The science that was used by the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the UNIPCC, was manipulated, was faked, was manufactured, and there is proof of it. It was brought out in court, in the Supreme Court of British Columbia, when Dr. Michael Mann of Penn State, who's the one that, he's the father of the global warming hockey stick curve of CO2 versus global temperature. In order to get that, however, he had to eliminate several very important climatic periods in Earth's history, periods that we've been able to take a look at by drilling down into ice cores at the Vostok Glacier in Antarctica. And when we get down very, very deep, that's very, very old in Earth's history. And we can take those ice samples, take them to a laboratory, warm them up, and the gases that were dissolved in that water that became ice way back when, 100,000 years ago, is evolved out in a laboratory, and we can tell you what the atmosphere was on Earth at that particular point in time. We can tell you what the time was, and we can tell you what the temperature is by the oxygen-18 isotope concentration. And all of that data was manufactured by Michael Mann. He sued Dr. Timball in the Supreme Court of British Columbia. The judge ordered him, Mann, to bring out his data because Ball said he didn't belong at Penn State, he belonged in the state pen. And then Mann sued him for defamation. The judge ordered Mann to bring his data into court, he refused. The judge threw it out, he had to pay all the legal costs. Why would he not want his data shown? Because it's manufactured. And what they're going to do to Geauga County will be done on complete fabrication, and I'm cautioning you specifically because you've already bought into it. And you don't know a damn thing about carbon dioxide. If you want to know something, let me tell you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
He sort of got my goat up. My name is Rich Prinsick from Hamden Township. I just want to say I've heard a lot of things lately, and I want to know if any of our monies are coming from Geauga County to go to from Geauga to Cuyahoga County. Cuyahoga County spends money like I don't know. And I don't think that we owe them a dime because all they do is waste their money. They've destroyed my football for 56 years. I don't want nothing to do with that city. And I don't want our town or our county to have any of my money going to Cuyahoga County. That's the one thing that I was upset about. But as far as this global warming crap's going on, yeah, you got to get a grip on that. And whoever's involved in sending our money, what we need is we need less taxes. I had a drone. This gentleman here, I don't know whose drone it was, but they went over my house and they decided that I had a deck that needed to be taxed. What the hell's that all about? You put a little wood on the ground, it's not even attached to anything, all of a sudden your taxes go up. I'm a poor man, but I paid everything off that I had to do during my life. I'm married. We've done what we had to do, and now everything's going to shit. I mean, really bad. I got 42 seconds. All I want to say is I really appreciate you letting me know, or say, because I'm whooped. You know, I think we got the best parks in the state. Everything about our parks is wonderful. They do a wonderful job. My biggest problem is I'm the generation that doesn't go to the internet. So I don't see what they have planned. First off, they don't plan anything anymore. But I'd like to see a little more. They used to have papers that you could take, and it would have everything going on for the month. And you could go to any of those places. This gentleman here, he wants to know what to do. He should be teaching people how to get through if something goes through that nuclear power plant. We should all be. Oh, thank you. I apologize.
No, that's okay. You got concerned in one topic, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Go ahead.
Ellen Naylor from Russell Township. I've been to quite a few meetings where there's been a huge amount of citizens. I'm not going to go over all the very valid concerns and complaints that they have about NOACA. I think we all want our county to be representing us and you to be representing us and representing the county. And at the very least, there's been suggestions of other things that we can do. All we hear is we pay NOACA this much and get this much back for projects or something. And that's such a trite and this vague answer for all the specific complaints that have been raised. And we just, as citizens, we need to hear answers to those complaints to feel like our representatives up there are actually not just holding their noses and waiting till we're done talking, but that something else comes back. We can go get out of NOACA, which is what a lot of people want. There's other ways that we could get in with Lake County or somewhere else that we would be properly represented. Right now, Cuyahoga has so many votes that even when all the other small counties got together, we couldn't go up against anything. And to us, that's just not representation. And it's growing, it's getting bigger, it's causing all these other things instead of just being an infrastructure thing. And as citizens, we want to hear back. We want to have information meeting. We want to hear that our commissioners are actually considering all these things and coming up with a plan besides we're just going to continue to do it. That's all I have to say.
As far as leaving NOACA and communicating with Lake County, I've tried for a year and a half to even, Lake County Commissioners do not want to merge with Geauga. They want to stay where they're at. And it's based on population, and we've got 96,000 people. Lake County has 235. They have more votes, so they get more money, based on population. But I, appreciate your concerns. Thanks you for coming in.
No, it's only
One more person.
Anybody else? One person. Come on up.
Skip Claypool from Chestlin. And by the way, I think EMS is great. And so you guys do a great job out there. So I have this document from Dick Howard. And there's an old saying that says, figures don't lie, but liars figure. That's pretty typical of NOACA. There's a part on the bottom that says build grant. It talks about $14 million that was the total project cost for a safety study done. I was here and I was a commissioner when that safety study was going on. I was actually involved in that safety study. I have documents, I have the presentations and the resulting study that came out of that study. That study was done by the Department of Transportation, State of Ohio, and by our county engineer and by the city of Middlefield. Had nothing to do with NOACA. NOACA had nothing to do with that study. And if you bring Joe Cattell back and ask him about that, he will tell you that. That was, and the funding itself was the result of Rob Portman and Donald Trump wanting to fund rural projects. And so NOACA put their stamp on it because federal dollars coming back through this region flow through NOACA, but they had zero to do with that particular study. But they want to claim credit for it. There's so much that I could talk about. I could talk an hour on this presentation, or on this sheet here, though. There's two charts on there that are meaningless on the left-hand side. But it talks about the estimated gas tax that we pay into the system. I have a calculation, a spreadsheet that shows how much gas tax we pay in. It's $10 million. These guys list $8 million. So let's use their $8 million figure for the sake of argument. At $8 million, we paid $192 million into the system in the period of time they list. It's a 24-year period. In that 24-year period, that was before Grace Gallucci came here, we actually were treated pretty fairly. We used to get $1 million to $2 million back per year in project dollars. Since Grace Gallucci arrived, that has changed significantly. And so, but we pay a lot into the system. It's not the dues that are important. It's how much gas tax dollars we pay into the system that we don't get back out of the system. Actually, in the state of Ohio, we pay about 17. I have a calculation that says about 20 into the system from a state of Ohio gas tax perspective. And the state of Ohio actually, because it's constitutional and there's a lot of law around that, we are treated pretty fairly on the Ohio gas tax and the way that comes back. But relative to us getting out of NOACA, and I've got 22 seconds left, I have a cost model that was approved by ODOT when I was a county commissioner that shows if we did form a combination with Lake County, we'd share about $7 million a year. $7 million a year. That's about $162 million in the 24-year period. I don't know why Lake County wouldn't sit down and talk to us. I don't know why you're not willing to sit down and look at the spreadsheet. But we would take off the table a lot more money. And so anyway, with that said, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for everybody's public comment. And is there a motion to adjourn?